my dear students, IAS aspirants who are the future hope of this country, welcome to you all. To begin with, I express my thanks to Veranda IAS for having invited me, for having given me this opportunity to talk to you. I'm extremely happy about it, and I stand to appreciate you for having chosen Veranda IAS, which will definitely give you the best learning experience, and it will certainly offer guidance in a very conducive and comfortable learning environment.
Veranda IAS, where your dream becomes reality.
Good evening, everyone. I am Raja. So I am from IFS 2020 batch. I'm West Bengal cadre. So in this video, I have and many of my students also have recently cleared. So from whatever my experience, whatever I have with the students, I'll try to summarize or give you an idea about preparing for current affairs. Okay, so from as you will all of you know that from 2011 there is a separate pattern of questions how when the prelims patterns changed, and then again from 2017 the pattern got changed, the way the questions were asked, especially for with relation to the current affairs. Then 17 that was yes, anyone, if you want to raise a question or ask, you can unmute and speak. So, in the last few years, if you have seen, like starting from 2017, the pattern of asking questions with relation to the current affairs has comparatively a little bit changed. And then last year, 2023 question paper with respect to current affairs, it was a different paper. And 24 paper has come back to the same pattern, how it was earlier. So now I'll tell you why this current affairs part is important or how we can go about it. First, why is it important? First, it is a direct number of questions, directly relating to the number of questions. If you see this year paper or any year paper, you can see minimum of 12 to 15 questions you will get. Minimum of 12 to 15 questions every year, 100% you will get for sure. So this year 15 questions, last year 15, previous year 13 questions. So like that, it may vary 1 or 2 questions more or less, but this 12 to 15 questions you will get for sure. That is one thing, number of questions. Second thing, while preparing current affairs, many of them, there is a difference between preparing current affairs for other exams and UPSC. When you prepare current affairs for, let's say, for SSC or even for TNPSC, the approach will be more of a factual thing. Let's say, for example, some news has happened or some election has happened in some state or some country. Okay, so who's elected new, or maybe a little bit, maybe if they want to go back a little bit into constitutional provision, they can ask maybe about that particular country, they can ask specific things. Direct factual static questions, this is for mostly for SSC and other exams. But if you go for UPSC, this was the pattern till 2013, even 11 13 you can tell most of it were direct questions. But now in the last 3 to 4 years, if you see what they're going is, they're going for applied questions. Even direct questions are also there, but applied questions have been integrated. For example, let's say, I think last year questions, if you take, there was one father, uh, I'm not getting his name, he was arrested in Jharkhand. Okay, he was put in jail and he was not given bail, and he died in jail. That was the news. If you read it as a news, it doesn't concern with directly with UPS until and unless, let's say, if you are going into UAPA provisions or internal security issues, directly it is not related. But in prelims, they asked about the provisions related to jail condition, who controls the related to prison manual. These conditions, these questions are indirect questions which are related with the current affairs. So these kind of questions is one type. Second is type of questions which is coming now in this year also, last year also, is direct question. Like let's say, for example, there is a military exercise between India, Nepal, or India, Bangladesh, or India, Singapore, or India, UK, whatever it is. So the exercise is given and the country is given, you can match. Or let's say there is a scheme. They give the name of the scheme, ask for you the explanations or some points or the ministry associated. This is a direct type of question. Okay, so whenever you read for UPSC specifically, you have to go a one step more than your preparation for the other exams. Okay, so if you are reading only the factual things, then it may not help you that much as far as your UPSC is concerned. Why I'm telling is one more thing is you can use this current affairs even in your mains answer writing. Sorry. So if you for a fact, if you when you go through the mains question paper, let's say GS 1, 2, 3 and 4. In 1, 2 and 3, all the three papers you can integrate your current affairs facts, figures, your schemes, all of them you can integrate. Let's say if you are able to even use some maps, some places in from news, whatever you can relate with, it will help the examiner to you can tell evaluate your paper in a much better way, that you are aware of the current happenings, plus you are able to integrate with your static content. Okay, so whenever you are reading your current affairs, always try to relate with what you have studied in your polity or economy or whatever subject it relates with. Okay, so this is one thing. And another thing I wanted to tell you is, let's say if you take current affairs, it's not a single subject. If for me, I subdivided into at least 7 subtopics. Let's say one will be your starting with events of national importance, whatever events have happened. That is one thing. Then your international affairs, then your science and technology, economic developments, environment and ecology, social issues, art and culture. Okay, and the last one, why I have given last is because generally, if you go through the last all the questions, all the at least 10 years questions, you will know that they have not asked much questions except one or two questions from sports. So generally, we don't what you can tell focus more on sports, but recently they have asked last year, not this year. Last year they have asked more number of sports questions. That is an exceptional paper. Okay, and always there will be a year when some subjects is given more importance. In 2017, what happened was they gave more number of art and culture question. 17 number of art and culture question, which was like out of blue. So that might happen. That is a that you cannot control. But these other things you can be very well prepared. So if you when you are preparing, when you are reading a news, put them into subcategory. What I have told, like national importance, international affairs, economic development, science and technology, environment ecology, social issues, art and culture, and sports. Okay. In this, if you see the maximum number of questions, two categories, two main areas, what I've come across in the analyzing last few years paper is, one is your science and technology, and your social schemes or social issues, right, which is relating to all your welfare schemes, initiatives, all of them. Okay, so these two things try to give more importance, and the other topics also have them listed properly. And whenever you read a news, I hope you might have had a class on reading newspaper and all these things. They might have told you, I think. So when you come across a topic, try to put this under the topic which you have for mains. Okay, whenever I have nearly taught for 1,000 students till now. So what I always used to tell them is, just put printed copy of your main syllabus, GS 1, 2, 3, 4 in front of your writing sitting table or wherever you are studying, so that whatever topic you are reading, you should be able to relate with what topic or where it comes under. Let's say I'm reading a scheme for elderly people, or for differently abled people, or let's say I'm reading a data on unemployment or an inflation. So I'll know, okay, this is the topic where it might come under. So this is the topic in which if there is a question, I'll include this data. So you should have a clear idea about your GS syllabus and then correlate with the current affairs what you are reading. Okay, so this is how you can relate your static with your current affairs what you are reading. So don't just read this current affairs alone. Maybe for factual things it might help you. For example, let's say which of the following is the one which is recently included in UN what do you call UNESCO's heritage list. So that you can directly, that is a very factual question that you can just take it down and you can directly know little facts about it. That is very basic thing. But if you are coming across a news which is coming again and again in news, and it is a, let's say, a constitutional issue. Let's say, for example, you are reading that let's say the CM of Tamil Nadu is complaining about the governor, or the governor is complaining about the CM. In any state, just for an example, I'm telling. So we don't have to go into the political thing. That is not required for us also. But you have to go and see the constitutional provision. How or what power does the governor has over the CM's decision? Okay, let's say for example, you read a news telling that a political party is signing a resolution, or all the assembly members of Tamil Nadu State Assembly, they are signing an anti-NEET resolution. Okay, and it is not passed by the governor. Okay, and it may be politicized. That is, you can leave that, but you have to go to the legislation. You have to know what power does the legislative assembly has, and what veto power the governor has, and till what date, or what is the limitation of the veto power of the governor. So when you go backtrack the current affairs, you will get the static relation. Okay, so this is one way how you can connect your static with your current affairs and learn. Okay, and next, sources. How or from where do we learn this? This is again, I can tell many of them have doubts, because earlier when in 2013, 14 and all, what used to happen is there was not much of publications, magazines and all. One or two magazines, so everyone used to follow that. But nowadays there are so many magazines. Okay, so many publications, starting from, let's say, if you follow. But UPSC, what do? They pick up the issues and go for the background question. So you can go for one newspaper, which generally I would suggest you can go for Hindu and PIB. PIB you can read on a daily basis if you have if you follow it on let's say app or something. Even so many other YouTube channels, or this podcast are there where they give the summary of PIB. So you can follow any one of them. Have the summary of PIB. Don't spend much time, but try to pick from there. If you get some data, schemes, all this year and last year, so many questions have come from PIB. Okay, so I would suggest that as your second source, and the third source, any one fixed magazine that you can refer. That is up to you. You can refer either, let's say, your institutes or visions or Shankar, whatever it is comfortable for you. You should substitute. Sorry, sir. You should add to these two sources. Why I'm telling is, at the end of the month, you will have a magazine with the topic wise current affairs, so that you can go through if there has been any topic which you have missed, that you can take from there. Okay, so this is the basic content for your what you call current affairs. So let's say notes making. How or why or should I make notes for current affairs? Earlier, people used to do this paper cutting. They used to keep them, revise them, and all these things. But My opinion is that you should make notes. Okay, what I used to do is I used to read the Hindu newspaper. You will know which pages to read, not to read, and all that, I hope. So, in that, let's say when you are reading the editorial, okay, you are reading the editorial and you make a summary of 10 bullet points. Don't write the entire editorial, maybe 8 to 10 sentences. Summarize the entire editorial which is relevant to UPSC in 8 to 10 sentences in your own words. You can read the editorial, underline the important points, and then you can summarize that in 8 to 10 lines. This is one for editorial. And apart from that, other topics, at least the important topics you can highlight and keep. Nowadays, you get all the PDFs and everything you get. Either you can write it, or if you get even newspaper summaries, most of the websites they are publishing. Okay, so you can take the summary and you can highlight it from there. This is one way you can make notes, and later in that same PDF, or if you have taken the printout, you can add whatever you have additional data. Whenever you read a magazine or something, you can always use the additional data. And most of the websites or institutions, they give you daily news summary, so you can use them for your reference. Okay, and why I'm telling is don't spend more time. Maximum you can spend is 1.5 hours for current affairs in a day. 1.5 hours you can spend. With more than that, do not spend, because you have the other subjects also to cover. So, yes, any doubts, anyone?
Students, you can ask your doubts. தமிழ்லயே நீங்க கேள்வி கேட்கலாம். So please.
யாருக்கு எதுவும் டவுட் இருக்குங்களாப்பா? டவுட் இருந்தா சொல்லுங்க, I'll clear, then we'll go on. Somebody has written a message. Will editorial hold important topics every day? No. In a week, if you see, maybe 3 or 4 editorials will be important to UPSC. Because every day there will be political news, there will be other newses which is not related to UPSC. Okay, so focus on the news or editorial which is directly related to UPSC. How you will come to know whether it is related or not? If you are thorough with the syllabus, then you will know that whether it is related to UPSC or not. So have your UPSC main syllabus handy. Go through them repeatedly. So when the news comes to you, that you will know, okay, this is this particular topic is related to this paper and this subtopic. Like that you can relate. Yes. Okay. So
No more doubts, sir. How to start answer writing for using current affairs for mains examinations?
okay, answer writing. Okay. So how to start is one thing. First, if you are starting from basic, like if you have not started at all, first you go through the topic and prepare the static. Let's say, for example, if there is a question on let's say there is a question on India UK relation, the past and the future. If there is a question, analyze India UK relation, or how it has changed over a period of time, or what is the future, then first you should be having content on what has happened till now. Okay, there was a UK election this year, so there is a new government in place, there is a new prime minister. That is secondary, but you should know the past, how India and UK relations were there, and what were their common interest, what were their conflicting points. Okay, then now if you are reading some news in paper telling that, okay, the UK government is going to change its stand on Kashmir issue, then that is a news to you that you will integrate in this question, telling that this has happened in the past, this is the future, and this the recent happening of the new government in place in UK is trying to change its position on Kashmir, and then tell whether it is but to the benefit of the country, benefit of India, or how is it going to affect India? So it depends on the question and where you can integrate the data. Like for example, let's say you have read a current affairs on, let's say, unemployment, data on unemployment. You are reading that there is a, let's say there is a decrease in, just for example, I'm telling, there is a decrease in unemployment in developing countries like India, while on the other hand, there is the unemployment rate is very high in countries like US or UK and other countries. So this is the news article you have read, and you have some facts also. These many numbers, 4.2.2 have come down, gone up, some data you have. Okay. Now they are asking a question. The question is, let's say, what is the future of demographic transition in India, or transition, how the demography is going to decide the democracy, or how the democracy is going to impact the economic growth. Okay, something like that they're asking, relating with the economy or employment, whatever, something they are asking. So you will have the number of points. Okay, so this is what is demography, or this is what, how it is going to impact the country, and the youth are having this much unemployment will be 1 point in that entire question. So you might have read an entire article, but you cannot integrate the entire article. You will have only one fact to integrate from the current affairs. Okay, so this is how, why I'm telling is, you should be very thorough with the syllabus so that you will know which fact to put it where. Under what topic you can use this topic. Let's say, for example, you are reading a current affairs on, or let's say, a wastage of food material by FCI godowns, or something related to that. So you will read a topic called as PDS in your, let's say, paper 3. When you are reading through that, or even in paper 2 social justice. So when you are reading through paper 1, when you are reading through that PDS topic, you will know, okay, this was the fact I read somewhere relating to FCI. So this data can be integrated there. And when you're writing the answer, you will have the static data. You can integrate this factual data in the, you can use in introduction also, you can use in substantiation also. For example, if there is a question on, write about the current problem of unemployment in India, then you can introduce with the fact which you have read from current affairs, telling that according to the NSSO survey or some other survey, that this is the rate of unemployment in India, which has been caused due to various reasons, such as, then you can go for your static answer. Then when you're giving your reasons, they're also in substantiating your point, you can give a data. Like for example, you are telling that lesser number of skilled labor is one reason why unemployment is high, or people not able to get employed. Then you can tell about some factual figures, telling that the World Economic Forum has told that only this many % of Indian labor force is skilled. That is a factual figure. So you can use an introduction, you can use in the body of the question. Mostly generally we don't use facts or current affairs in conclusion. You can tell if there is some new initiative has been taken, or something can come up that recently this has been initiated by the government of India or a particular state, that this can be replicated, or some scheme has been started, that you can always give in your conclusion. I hope I was clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Friends, anyone, or you having any doubt? Harita, Shalini, Musfira. If you have any doubt, please you can ask. Yeah. Awesome.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Yes, please.
Sometimes a single news cover various number of topics. At that time, how will you suggest to take notes, sir?
Yes, as I have told you, when news is repeatedly happening, let's say, for example, if you take Russia-Ukraine war, it has been coming for 1 year. Every year, every day, one page or one column is dedicated to that, and it is going on a repeated news. So you find out the core point of that issue. Okay, this same issue, what I was telling, no, this, let's say the governor of West Bengal is fighting with the CM of West Bengal, or with in Telangana or in Tamil Nadu. So the core of the issue is the constitutional conflict, which is happening, which is the reason why this is happening in so many states where the governors are appointed by the central government, or the government which is opposed to the ruling party in a particular state. So this is the core of the issue. So you go for appointment of the governor. What is the constitution position? You take one page, dedicate to that issue. You find the issue, what is the core of the issue, then have the static content of the issue, then you write the positives and the negatives of the issue, and then the solution and way forward. You try to summarize in one page. If some very big issue is happening repeatedly, have one page of your current affairs note dedicated to that, with the heading, summary of the issue, static content, then both the sides, pros and cons analysis, then your way forward. Like that, if you can do, and whenever there is an update on that particular news, have a column on the right side, you can add to that column. Okay, and you will not need much data. Like what I meant is, let's say, for example, nobody will ask if there is a new question, if there is a news in the newspaper telling that, let's say, Russia has fired these many number of missiles into Ukraine. Okay, or Ukraine has fired this many missiles into the Russia. You don't have to keep track of these number of missiles, these, that. But if there is a news article telling that the Iron Dome of Israel was able to save the country from 600 number of missiles fired from Lebanon or Gaza, or whatever it is, once it is mentioned like this, then there is a new term. It is just a human intuition. So you should know what is this Iron Dome project. So you should know, have search this little basic about this, and you write about the Iron Dome project. You will not require the number of missiles fired, or maybe sometimes they might ask the regions if they are in conflict. They may give you different smaller regions which are in news, but they will never go into the minute details. Okay, so these things you can keep in mind. So when there is an issue, have a repeated issue, have a summary of that issue, and keep adding very important details when they are repeatedly coming in use. Okay. In what aspect do we have to analyze such news? If a news covers for. Okay. So whenever there is an article, okay, whenever there is an article you read or you come across, always, as some tells, no, everything has two sides. Every sentence, every words, every statement will have a two side. Okay, if somebody is stating that, let's say, Indian demography is doomed to end in chaos. This is a completely negative statement. Okay, so they are telling that the demography is going to affect India's growth or economic development. So this is a negative statement, completely negative statement, and they are telling you critically analyze. Okay, these keywords are very, very, very important. When you go for mains answer writing, you will know. So when a news article is coming like this, or some agency is telling that this is going to happen, that India's population is increasing and this is going to affect the economic development. When you read such an article, when you come across such an item, have two sides of a page, two columns in a page, have supporting arguments and opposing arguments, very to the point, bullets. Okay, yes, demography of India is going to affect India. 8 points. No, demography is a blessing to Indian economic development. How? Bullet wise. Okay, then you can have what should be taken way forward, as I told. Okay, so that if you have like that, if you prepare any article issues which comes in news, then it will be very helpful for you in your answer writing. Okay, and these factual figures will help you for prelims. and the analytical part will help you for your mains. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Anyone?
Anyone have any doubts? Harita, Saundarya, Shalini, Janani, Sukesh.
Okay. So one thing I would tell is you should add your current affairs. You should read your current affairs on a regular basis. Why I am telling is when you are reading factuals, let's say for example, every year there is a question, at least one question on government schemes. This year more than one, I think this year 3 questions they have asked. Every year there is at least one question on government scheme. Okay, one question is not that simple. You might think one question we should read so many schemes, but it is 2 marks and you will get it very directly. There is not much to analyze, not much to apply your mind. There's just a scheme and its provision or a ministry they are going to ask. Okay, but if you read these 200 schemes at just before 1 month before prelims or 20 days before prelims, you cannot remember all the 200 300 schemes and the ministries and the provisions. Okay, instead of that, if you follow your PIB, you will come across the scheme whenever it is introduced then and there. So if you have a short write-up, let's say 50 words or 80 words on that scheme, okay, then on that particular week or the day when it is introduced itself, then you will be able to revise them. Okay, current affairs will need a lot of revision. Okay, especially your factual part. Okay, analytical part, okay, once you have analyzed, you will remember, but factual things you must go through them repeatedly. Okay, so always have a regular reading and a regular revision. Okay, I used to tell my students 1-7-30. This is the formula. That is, what you read in 1 day, that should be revised in 7 days once, and then what you read in 7 days should be revised after 30 days once. So that is 1-7-70. That is like a permanent formula. This is scientifically proven also, where it will subconsciously remember for a much longer period. Okay, so try to revise them. Okay. Yes, anyone else? So this is the basic things about current affairs preparation, sources, notes making, revision, and with respect to your mains answer writing. Okay, I hope this was useful. And if you have to, let's say for example, somebody is asking how do we keep track of everything, because yes, you will be able to keep track. Let's say for example, if you are making notes, you are spending 1.5 hours to make a note in a day, after reading so much of current affairs or newspapers and so many things PIB. One day, if you spend 1.5 hours, maximum 2 hours you can spend, including notes making. So once you make that, you go through them once, revise them once before the end of the day or whenever you want. What I used to do is always used to read current affairs when I get sleepy or when I get bored, because current affairs will not require you to apply your mind and polity or something where you have to think too much. Okay, or geography, that monsoon pattern is happening like this, that, so there is not much of a application oriented thing in current affairs. So whenever I feel sleepy, I'll take current affairs. It'll be interesting also, because every fact, every news is a new article, new item. So you will get to know so many things, and when you read them, try to picturize them and read. This is for any subject. Okay, and that will help you also. For example, let's say if you are coming across a news article telling that Garba dance has recently been included in UNESCO's heritage list, then you just put in Google Garba dance, you will see the women dancing, and you see the map of India where it is. So you picture in your mind, okay, people are dancing in Gujarat, and it has been recently included in the UNESCO's heritage list. It is matter of just a minute for you to search in Google and store it as a picture in your memory. That will help you retain. Okay, or let's say for example, if there is a GI tag given to some food item, or just for example, let's say Rasgulla in West Bengal. So you just search what it is, or let's say a dance in Manipur, just for an example I'm telling. So put in Google, try to link with the state or a condition, then you will be able to remember more. Okay. This usually helps if you follow it properly for 1 year, because you are going to write, most of you, I hope you are going to appear next year. So it's almost after 10, 11 months you are going to appear. So if you keep track of them, one by writing, then revision, third with connecting your content with the picture, whatever picture, image, or if you can do that, then it will help you remember a lot. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And one student was asking that how IFS would be, and is the service would be adventurous or enjoyable?
Oh, okay. So generally, Indian Forest Service, what kind of works we have is, there are different types of works, depends on the postings you get. For example, in every state, you will have two different types of posting. One will be your what we call as territorial posting, and one is wildlife posting. Okay. So what in general, I am right now posted as a DF, Divisional Forest Officer. So what generally we do is, most of it's kind of an office job combined with your field visit. For example, my field visit or field inspection will be part of my official duty. So earlier, I was posted in Jaldapara. So what I used to do is, I used to sit in office. Whenever I got bored, we'll go to the field. We'll go for a gypsy inside the forest. We used to have elephants, departmental elephants. So we used to ride the elephants. We used to go into deeper jungle. Uh, we used to camp near the river streams. All these things we used to do. So main is office work. Apart from that, you will have you can tell a lot of field. If you are interested, you can do a lot of field visits and field inspections. This is main part. Apart from that, we do plantations, wildlife protection. All these things are a regular part of your duty, or let's say acting against poaching, hunting. All these things are part of your regular duty. But in general, in my opinion, it is a more of a balance, much more balanced life for me to be in the Indian Forest Service. And it depends also. Let's say, for example, it depends on the person's interest or person's expectation from the service. Okay, there are people who have joined, who have got IAS and they have resigned after a few years also. Okay, there are people who have joined in, let's say, group 2 or group 3, and they have stayed on that for the entire their career. No, it depends on your expectation, what you expect from the service, or what do you want to do with your service. That will help you. Okay, maybe in 1 or 2 years you will get to know. Once you get into the service, or once you start the preparation, already you might have got an idea about what is this service is. Then once you go into the service, you will get a much better, larger exposure. Okay. Home cadre posting, yes. It is the same. All India cadre rules is same for all the three IAS, IPs, and IFS. So if you get a higher rank, or one first rank or second rank in your state, you have a higher probability to get in your state. And now, though, there is no, if you are getting only first in your home state, then you might get home state. Otherwise, it is very difficult, because there is a cadre allocation policy is different now. It is a region-wise system. What happens is, you have to choose different regions. So first, let's say for I gave South region first, and then in that Tamil Nadu is the first priority. When I don't get Tamil Nadu, my second priority in South region will not be selected, but it will go to next. The lottery is like this. My second zone selection will go. After I don't get Tamil Nadu, it will go to second zone what I selected. And then if I don't get the first option of second zone, then it will go to third zone. Like that, it is going on a rotation. So only upwards, after completing a complete round, it will come back to second zone. I think you'll get to know this cadre allocation policy. But if you get a good rank, it's highly possible for you to get home cadre. Okay, and otherwise, if you get any other state, you can come to home state after getting interstate deputation. You have deputation, so after a few years, you can get deputation, come to home state. Yes. Any other doubts? If you start a new editorial, one editorial, if you take a complete new editorial, it will be difficult for you to comprehend. And now only the current issue they would have related in the editorial. But if you know the background of that story, you will know, you will be able to understand it better. For this, what you can do is, there are websites like Insights of India. What do they give is they give the editorial with background. So if you go to Insights on India editorial, on a daily basis, they put the editorial, they explain the background, and then they give a conclusion kind of a thing. They give like a answer writing, proper answer writing. If not that website, there are so many other websites. Or you try to get to know what is the core of the editorial issue, what they are discussing. Then you put UPSC that core issue. Let's say, for example, there is an article on unemployment, whatever it is. So unemployment in India, they are discussing how it is varying across different states, or there is development in different states, how it is varying. You understand the core of the issue, then you put in Google UPSC, the particular topic, you'll get so many writings. Read 2, 3 of them, then you will get an idea. Okay, so this is what is actually has happened before, or this is the background of this issue. And recently this issue has happened. So this editorial is explaining that issue. Okay. You can do that. It will help you. There are so many websites to give you the background of the story. You can read the background and don't sit for hours. That is what I would suggest. Don't take an editorial and sit for 2, 3 hours. Read the editorial in a few minutes, then go for a static website content that will help you to relate that content with your current affairs. Okay. Why I'm telling again and again this online resources is because these resources are easily available. That is the reason why the competition is also high. Nobody is restricted now. Anybody who wants to learn or prepare for UPSC will have access to all these contents. Okay, so have them and use them to your advantage so that you will be able to clear the exam in a let's say much easier or a far better way. I think I have told a few of them already. If I used to refer Insights on India. Then there is a website for IDSA, different strategic agent. That is only for internal security. I used to refer, and okay. And for static contents, you can refer any toppers notes, and always I'm telling you, don't go for multiple sources. That is one mistake many of them they do. Don't go for multiple sources. Have one single source of material and add the data or whatever you read from current affairs in static content material or your academic static content material, and then some other textbook, and then some other toppers note, and then current affairs. So don't go for multiplying the content. You have a single one proper book or content to refer, and then you add the extra additional data, whatever you read. Okay. And other websites, I used to refer this UPSC PDF. They put all the question papers and notes as free of cost. You can refer them. Okay. And I used to watch this Rajya Sabha TV's Big Picture from YouTube. They give you lots of opinion and very, very diplomatically designed answers, opinions you will get when you watch those shows. You'll get much better idea. Most of them are diplomats who are invited to the show. So you will get a good amount of data also. Yes, I hope the data what I gave was useful. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.